This is a central air conditioning system running on a hot summer afternoon. The outdoor unit is cycling on and off roughly every 12 minutes, all day long, the same way it has every summer since it was installed. And inside the thermostat, or the unit's own control panel, there is a setting that nobody adjusted during installation, one that is making that cycle happen more often than it actually needs to. I found mine in about 2 minutes. No tools, no technician, no new equipment. I'm going to show you exactly what this setting does, where to find it, and how adjusting it lets your system reach the same comfortable temperature while running noticeably fewer hours each day. Here is what is actually happening inside your cooling system, right now. An air conditioner removes heat from inside your home and pushes it outside by running refrigerant through a cycle that requires the compressor to work continuously while the system is on. The compressor is the most energy-intensive part of the entire unit, and the way most systems are configured by default means that compressor starts and stops far more frequently than it needs to. The setting most people never check is called the cooling set point differential, sometimes labeled as the temperature swing or deadband on central systems, or the sensitivity setting on window and mini-split units. Here is how it works. When you set your thermostat to 72 degrees, the swing setting determines how much the temperature is allowed to drift before the system kicks back on. A tight swing of half a degree means the compressor restarts almost immediately every time the room climbs slightly above your target, which on a hot day can mean dozens of short cycles over an afternoon. This matters because the startup phase of every cooling cycle is the least efficient phase. When a compressor starts from standstill, it draws a surge of electricity to build pressure before it can move heat effectively. A system that starts 20 times in an afternoon uses more total energy than a system running fewer, longer cycles to reach the same temperature. Widening the swing by just 1 or 2 degrees cuts those inefficient startups dramatically, while the room stays equally comfortable the whole time. The second adjustment that adds to the savings is the fan delay setting on central systems, which controls whether the air handler fan keeps running briefly after the compressor shuts off. Most systems default to stopping the fan at the exact same moment as the compressor, which leaves cold air sitting in the ductwork instead of distributing it into the rooms. Setting the fan to run for 60 to 90 seconds after each cycle pushes that residual cold air out for free, getting useful cooling from air the compressor already worked to condition. Most central air systems are configured by an installation technician who confirms the system cools the house and then moves on to the next job. The efficiency fine-tuning settings live in a secondary menu that rarely comes up during a standard installation walkthrough, and the documentation that explains these settings is usually filed away or lost before the first summer ends. Window and mini-split units are even less likely to have these settings reviewed, since most people simply set a temperature and never open the manual again. The short cycling problem is well understood in commercial building management, where engineers specifically configure systems to minimize unnecessary startups. That knowledge rarely makes it down to a standard residential installation. Not because it is complicated, but because setup appointments focus on confirming the system works rather than teaching the homeowner how to optimize it. Home energy efficiency programs consistently identify short cycling as one of the primary causes of unnecessary energy use in residential cooling, noting that each compressor startup draws a measurable surge of electricity that adds up significantly across dozens of daily cycles in peak summer. Research on temperature swing settings has found that widening the differential by 1 to 2 degrees reduces total system cycling noticeably over a full day, with corresponding energy reductions that vary by climate and insulation but consistently point in the same direction. The fan delay adjustment is documented in efficiency guides as a straightforward way to recover useful cooling from air already conditioned and sitting in the ductwork, with modest but consistent efficiency gains across hundreds of cycles over a full cooling season. Home improvement communities online frequently discuss both adjustments, with homeowners reporting their outdoor units running in noticeably longer and less frequent cycles after making these exact changes, especially during the hottest weeks when any gain compounds fastest. Here is exactly what you need and exactly what to do. This covers central air systems with a programmable or smart thermostat, as well as window and mini-split units. What you need: nothing but access to your thermostat or control panel and about 5 minutes. No tools, no technician, no cost needed. For central air systems, Step 1. Access the Advanced Settings menu. Press and hold the menu button on your thermostat or tap the settings icon for 2 to 3 seconds. Look for a section labeled Advanced Settings, System Settings, or a gear icon. Most efficiency-related settings live here. Step 2. Find the temperature swing setting. Look for a setting labeled Swing, Differential, Deadband, or Temperature Tolerance. The default is often half a degree or 1 degree. Increase this to 1.5 or 2 degrees to allow more natural drift between cycles, cutting down on short compressor startups throughout the day. Step 3. Find the fan delay setting. In the same menu, look for a setting controlling what the fan does after the compressor shuts off, often labeled fan off delay, fan purge time, or post-cool fan. If your thermostat has this option, set it to run the fan for 60 to 90 seconds after each cooling cycle ends to push residual cold air out of your ductwork into the living space. Step 4. Check your cooling schedule. Confirm whether a schedule is configured. A schedule that relaxes the target by 3 to 5 degrees during unoccupied hours, combined with a recovery ramp before you return, adds meaningful savings without affecting comfort during the hours you actually feel it. Step 5. Save and observe for a week. Allow about a week for the system to settle into the new pattern. On hot days, notice how long the outdoor unit runs between rest periods. With the wider swing in place, cycles should be longer and less frequent than before. For window and mini-split units, Step 1. Locate the sensitivity setting. Press the Mode or Settings button on the remote until you find an option labeled Sensitivity, Temperature Tolerance, or similar. On units without this label, check the manual for a setting that controls how quickly the compressor responds to temperature changes. Step 2. Switch from high to medium sensitivity. Most window units default to the highest sensitivity setting. Switching to medium widens the temperature swing and reduces short cycling the same way the thermostat adjustment does for central systems. Step 3. Use the sleep or eco mode overnight. Most mini-split and window units have a sleep or eco mode that gradually relaxes the target temperature overnight, running the compressor less during hours when a slightly warmer room is comfortable for sleeping. Using this every night across a full summer adds up to a meaningful reduction. Step 4. Clean the filter right now. While you have the unit accessible, check the air filter. A dirty filter restricts airflow, forcing the compressor to run longer to move the same amount of conditioned air. A window or mini-split unit, the filter is usually accessible from the front panel and can be rinsed under running water and left to dry. On a central system, the filter is in the return air vent and should be replaced if visibly clogged. A clean filter improves efficiency immediately at near zero cost. Your air conditioning system has likely been running with its default efficiency settings untouched since the day it was installed. Nobody walked through the advanced menu during setup. Nobody explained that a simple swing adjustment cuts compressor startups significantly on a hot day. The manual covered it somewhere in a section most people never reached. These adjustments cost nothing, take a few minutes, and work quietly in the background every single day of the cooling season. After that, the system still keeps your home just as comfortable. It just does it a little more efficiently, starting today.